you, Medlin. It's incredible to think that 11 years ago, Representative Vance Lupus, Dave Lawrence, and I all traveled to Polk County to meet with Carol and Barney Barnett, where we all discussed the idea of building an early literacy initiative in Florida. They were insistent that we needed to find mentors for young children in our local communities that may need some extra help, and more specifically, a one-to-one relationship where they could connect every single week through the love and joy of reading. Now, there's a number of different reasons why Reading Pals holds a very special place in my heart. And some of my fondest memories have been specifically as a Reading Pals volunteer in the classroom, the same classroom actually for 7 years consecutively. The absolute highlight of my week, and for those that have spent time in the classrooms know exactly what I'm talking about here, to be greeted so warmly, not just by my Reading Pals students, but literally by every student in the classroom, including one of the best teachers that I've personally met, Dr. Syra Mir. I was even invited to celebrate holidays with the class, attend parties, and even host an end of year celebration where I was allowed to bring all my musical instruments for the students to try. My point here is that every year, my time in the classroom has always felt like family. My sincere hope is that you all have the opportunity to share some of these similar experiences, and if you haven't yet, that you do here in the near future. So I recognize that the last 2.5 years, just about, have been incredibly difficult for everyone. COVID-19, at least for a period of time, changed the way that we go about our daily lives. So momentarily, no longer was it okay for a volunteer to enter a classroom, and the idea of face-to-face interactions became very scary for some. The sharing of print books temporarily not even an option. Our program, which was built on face-to-face relationships, was in real danger of shutting down. So I'm thankful for all the people that stood by Reading Pals as we were forced to pivot. In most cases, it was to a virtual format during the 2020-2021 school year, building the proverbial airplane in midair. And this option for some maybe wasn't as attractive, and understandably so for a lot of reasons and logistics that we had to work through. And so our numbers, students, and every measure of our reach and how we had defined success for Reading Pals over the 8 years prior, they really suffered during this time. And I share this not all as a memorial of any sort for Reading Pals, but more so to point out that our program was the strongest it had ever been before the pandemic began back in early 2020, where we provided mentors to nearly 3,500 young students. Possibly difficult school year, and are in the process of recovery. But this is a long-term recovery that really does need all of your support. I'd like to show a few graphs to highlight my point, and we're going to move quickly through these. You're going to notice a few trends. So here's a look at a number of our participating classrooms over the last 3 years. Losing access to the classroom is clearly shown in year 9, but you'll also see us trending back up in year 10. Now on the next slide, with our volunteers over the same time period, volunteer restrictions, closures, safety protocols left us with only 1/5 of our volunteers still able to participate in some way, again, mostly virtual. But we are being welcomed back, as you can see there in year 10. And the next slide shows the number of students matched over the same 3-year period. And you probably could have guessed what this looks like on your own. So taking a look at the last graph reaffirms all of this, that we are rebounding in every measurable way. Next slide, please. So nearly 1,000 of you here today, and others that couldn't join us today, were able to come back or join the program for the first time, mentoring 1,500 students this past school year. And those students arguably need that one-on-one time now more than ever, giving nearly 35,000 books for our students to take home. And that is something for us to be truly proud of. So as you can see today, we still have a ways to go in order to match what we have accomplished previously, more than 2,300 mentors and 3,500 students annually. And every single person here is a big part of that. You're all critical. and we need all of your help. None of this works without our local partners, our coordinators, educators, parents, and the most represented group here today, our volunteers. So in closing, I invite you to join us this upcoming school year, and I really hope that you will help us continue to build back stronger than ever. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. It's great to see the story that we all know from the last couple of years come alive in those graphs, and really encouraging the continued impact of Reading Pals as we rebound even further.